We have another fight over the Oakland Coliseum. The Oakland City Council has stayed staunchly opposed to providing any public funds for a new waterfront ballpark in downtown Oakland. And with the MLB's blessing, the Oakland Athletics released a letter stating that they will explore other options. Omer, is Oakland losing the A's good for baseball? Is it good for the city? We've already seen the Raiders leave. What's next? And the Warriors moved across the bay to San Francisco. What's next? Why is this such an issue?
Well, it's such an issue because these major sports teams thinks they can just, bully the taxpayers into paying for these luxurious stadiums, these huge stadiums, because, that's what the taxpayer money really needs to go to. And again, I'm not going to get too political here, but this is a topic that comes up a lot when we're talking about these stadium disputes. And again, I'm not saying the Oakland Coliseum is a nice stadium. It's a very, really shitty stadium, but that's not on the city to pay, the bulk of the expenses for that. And, this is a move we've seen. We've seen whether it was the Baltimore Ravens trying to leave, the Baltimore Colts at the time trying to leave and then going to Indianapolis because of the Memorial Stadium issue, whether it was the Oakland Raiders, the St. Louis Rams, although with that one, the end goal was always to go to Los Angeles no matter what. They were given a new stadium, basically, and they said no. But specifically with the Oakland A's, I think that, Oakland is kind of, the Oakland A's are suffering from this weird delusion of, the moderate success they've had over the past, like 10 years. Like, they haven't been great, but they've been good. They've been like, we'll make it to the ALDS, and ALCS every now and, or ALW or wild card game every now and then. But we're not getting past that. We're not going to win the pennant. We're not going to go to World Series. That's not going to happen. But we're going to be moderately successful, and they're suffering from that delusion that that's good enough for them to warrant, a big stadium like this. And again, it's a weird thing for me because my old gripe has always been with these owners. If you want the new stadium and you are a successful team that's apparently been making money over the past few years, get it yourself. And if you can't get it yourself for the most part, and taxpayers, you want to help out, like fund like partially the stadium, sure. But I think these owners need to start, we need to get rid of this mentality of the cities need to pay for the majority of the stadiums because the teams are somehow doing a public service, even though whenever there's stadium issues come up, the owners are so fucking quick to throw the city under the bus, throw their fans who paid money for years under the bus, to just say, well, we can go get a better deal in L.A. or fucking Vegas or wherever, right? Like, come on, man. Like the Oakland A's fans, especially, dude. These fans suffer through a lot of bad times, in recent years. So before this run. So my thing is come on, you're a major sports team. If you don't have the funds to warrant a new stadium, then maybe you need to lower your expectations. And I think that's something that we should expect from teams in moving forward. I genuinely think that paradigm kind of needs to shift because we've seen it's bad for the game because you have teams like the Raiders who Las Vegas spends $1 billion on a new stadium for this team that hasn't shown really a lot of potential and just perennially go 7-9, 6-10, 7-9, 6-10. We've seen it in the NFL, and now we're gonna see it with the A's. And again, it's just one of those things where I think it's a cop out for the owner. I think they're just trying to strong arm their way into getting the taxpayers to pay for a new stadium, and it's scummy because it proves to you at the end of the day what it's all about. It is all about a business. It has nothing to do. When these owners say, oh, well, we care about the fans. No, they don't. They care about your money. They care about what, the optics look for them. They don't care about the fans because if they cared about the fans, they would try to get something done. That's what they would try to get something done, and they wouldn't throw you guys under the table like that. So, Oakland A's fans, what I have to say to you is, I'm sorry, your team ownership sucks.
One hell of a rant, Omar. I love it. Yeah, no, this is one of my pet. This is one of my little pet issues. I like the intersection of sports and politics here, but I think you're absolutely spot on. I mean, at the end of the day, there's no indication that MLB stadiums provide a service to the community. Owners love to wax poetic about how sports teams are public-private partnerships and how it's a public trust. But what is the public seeing from the benefits? Omer, let me ask you. How long has National Park existed, right? Since like 20, they put that in like 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
Is Navy Yard any more developed than it was 10 years ago at all?
I mean,
A little
yes,
bit.
yeah, no, it is developed. Look, that's not even what it's about, right? Like the theory is that these big projects always pay for themselves, right? Or like some cases that works. In a city like DC, dude, in a city like DC, that's probably always gonna work because the city's going through a massive development always, right? But when you look at cities like Oakland, when you look at cities like St. Louis, when you look at these smaller market teams or these smaller market areas, that model is not always gonna work, right? And a lot of times it does decentivize teams from doing that. But that's the point. My thing is, don't use the fact that you're providing a service that you know is probably not going to pay for itself as soon as you're saying it's going to, or it might not even at all. Like the it's just it's again it's like it's weird because there is like there's some backing for it, but at the same time, even the National Park issue that you mentioned, even with the Nats Park, dude, the it's not like this became like this was an immediate pressing need for them to expedite development of Navy Yard. That was not a pressing need. A more pressing need would be to deal with the amount of people that are suffering from homelessness in DC. More pressing need, and I think you can probably say similar things about Oakland from the problem I'm about to bring up. More pressing need would be attacking the number of people that drop out of school, high school in DC. The more pressing needs to feed impoverished families. Like these are again overlapping things you can say about a lot of these major cities and a lot of these areas that are lower income. Like there are way more pressing needs for these areas. I don't think a stadium should be the biggest investment that a city makes for like a 10-year period. That's stupid.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it needs to be a smart investment for the city. And the city of Oakland is not seeing the benefits from the A's new stadium. Look, don't get me wrong here. The Oakland Coliseum is absolute garbage, right? It needs to be demolished, right? Now that the Raiders have gone, the A's need to move, and the Oakland Coliseum needs to be demolished. It's disgusting. It's a pit. Every time it rains, the dugout fills with sewage, right? It's nasty. It's embarrassing. It's an eyesore for the league. But that doesn't mean that the Oakland taxpayers should front that bill. It doesn't mean that the people of Oakland have to bear that burden when the A's are not providing the requisite value in return. At the end of the day, if the A's want to move, they need to pay the money. Major League Baseball is a $5 billion industry. Major League Baseball has the funds to help the A's front the money. They do not need Oakland, right? Oakland is not getting ticket share. What is Oakland getting? Tax revenue? Oakland is not getting ticket shares. Oakland is not
But
getting
think of
revenue
the
sharing.
jobs they create, man. The jobs and the opportunity that they give to people potentially, maybe.
Yeah, and that would be great. That would be great if there was a plan in place to revitalize the Oakland waterfront and turn it into something magnificent, right? In the way that the Thunder have helped. And there's a great book on this. I'll get it to you guys the next time we hit an NBA topic. Um, but there's a great book on how the Oklahoma City Thunder move helped revitalize the Oklahoma City waterfront as part of a huge city widespread plan. And that's a wonderful thing. And that's when paying the money as a city council from your city coffers, that's when paying that money makes sense. But it doesn't seem like the city of Oakland is interested in that right now. And if that's the case, then you shrug your shoulders and you say, okay, well, we need a new stadium either way. And so we're going to move. Oakland's within, the A's are within their right to peruse other cities and decide if they want to go elsewhere. It's different, as you mentioned, with the Rams, because they were going to go to LA no matter what. That was the end goal. It wasn't about renegotiating with St. Louis, because they broke their lease to leave St. Louis, and they actually cost the city of St. Louis like $500 million in that. I think there's actually I don't know if the lawsuit's still pending, but I think the city sued the Rams. But it's the question is, okay, fine. If the A's have their right to move, is there space in Las Vegas? Is the city going to be willing to house the A's along with the Raiders? Is there, maybe they move east to Montreal. Maybe they move south to Mexico City. There are options if the A's do, maybe, north to Vancouver. I think Nashville. Nashville has been or Charlotte has been some low key areas, maybe moving into the Braves market in that area. I think that there's maybe a third Texas team in Austin or something. I think there are options for the A's if they want to move around. But I applaud the Oakland City Council for standing pat and not letting the Oakland A's and Major League Baseball bully them into making a financially unsound decision for the city, for the
Yeah.
residents of Oakland.
Agree.
So
Agree.
I think,
Again, more
yeah,
pressing. Like I promise you, Oakland has more pressing matters than a stadium. And again, the days of the sports teams being a public service and part of the community, really there's still a sense of community. Yeah, I'm a Packers fan, or I'm a Ravens fan, or I'm a A's fan. Like there's still a sense of that. But at the end of the day, there's so much disconnect from the actual operations of the team and the actual team itself and the fans. It's not, we're not like in 1924, right? We're not like when back in the day when the teams literally owned or the community literally owned stake in the team and really helped and the players were part of the community. That's not what it is anymore. And it hasn't been for a long time. And for owners to really keep a little bit of that lineage alive, to use as a marketing tactic, it's scummy. It is scummy, and it's always going to be scummy to me. And again, I try to keep out of politics on this show, but you can't with this topic. You can't stay out of it. It's always scummy to me when millionaires, billionaires ask taxpayers to pay expenses for something they want to build. That's never gonna look good. You can't, no matter what way you spin it, it's scummy and it shouldn't happen. Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.